Hi, I'm Dave, and this is Jay for the Dave and Jay Show. Jay, we have to do a little bit of exercising on the show today. We're going to do some, so everybody get ready. Now, I want to, you remember YMCA? When
I do remember that.
YMCA, remember that song? Well, we got a new
Who doesn't?
thing.
Well, if you're over 45 or 65 or whatever.
We're leading into a story about this NAFTA 2, which is called the USMCA. So I want I want to see if we can do it. How do you make a
U? A U is easy.
U-S. We got the MCA, so we got to get some background music to talk about this. The USMCA, what a crazy thing. Anyway, it's U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. It's a trade agreement between the U.S. and Mexico and Canada. It was right down to the wire, the very last second, the Trudeau government hanging on to the last second.
Well, there was an ultimatum by President Trump.
Trump said by the end of the month we got to have a deal. And the Senate backed it too, saying we need a deal by the end of the month or this whole thing's going to fall apart. So we did get one. And people, they were celebrating, we got this trade deal, we stuck to it, we held our ground for Canada. Well, now that there's more examination of actually what's in the thing, people are saying, not so fast. And there's some of this stuff that I don't think is going to be talked about around coffee tables, except now that you and I are talking about it, we hope it will. Some of the clauses in this agreement are troublesome. One is clause 32. I think you've got the exact number there, Jay.
32.10.
There you go.
10. Yeah.
Clause 32 is being examined by people in this country and saying, hold it, whoa, maybe we didn't get such a good deal here. Trump is pretty smart, and it looks like the Americans might have outmaneuvered us on this one, Jay. You've got some comments I'm sure you're going to want to say at the end of the show after I go on.
Whenever you run out of air, I'll jump
It doesn't happen often. Clause 32. Jay knows about it. He doesn't have to commit. This is about...
But I want to comment about it. In fact, I want to comment fairly strongly about this. What this does is effectively give the United States and Mexico, arguably, a veto over any future trade deals that we might enter into.
Well, not with China. Let's say what it is. It's about China.
Well, it's about China, but it could include other countries, Dave.
Non-market economies is how they talk about it.
So what we're talking about here is Canada willingly signed over some sovereignty. Because what we're saying is that, if you dare to go down that road of entering into a free trade agreement with China, for example, which arguably we have been endeavoring to do for a number of years. If you dare go down that, we have to have a look at it. You have to give it to us as your partners in the USMCA, and then we'll decide. And if we feel that it goes contrary to what is in our best interest, then we kick you out of the USMCA.
Well, or they can leave and the whole thing falls apart. Exactly right. And I don't know, Mexico has been dragged into this, I think, with Canada because the U.S. was driving the bus on this. And they said, listen, if you make any trade deal, if you think about doing a trade deal with China,
we have to see
you've got to come and talk to us.
Yeah.
And so this is the Trump administration using Canada and Mexico as fodder in this big trade fight they got going with China, and it could turn into a big old trade war, who knows. But we got sucked into it, I think, Jay. We got ground up in the mill that is this U.S. fight with China.
Just think about this for a minute, Dave, is that a sitting prime minister of a country, doesn't matter whether it's Canada or some other country, willingly gives up some sovereignty to a foreign nation, in this case the United States. Isn't that the description of treason, a treasonous act? I mean, people say, well, this isn't that big a deal. It is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Excuse me. I mean, and what I find particularly ironic or perhaps moronic is the fact that our prime minister, his international trade minister, and our government, signed on to this deal at the same time that they continually talk about diversification. In fact, in the last cabinet shuffle last summer, he actually named a minister for international diversification, trade diversification. So, you can't have it both ways.
But what's interesting about the assessment of these things, and different people assess it differently. Former Prime Minister Stephen Harper was asked about this clause the other day, and his view was this. I'm going to quote him. He said, Clause 32, which we're talking about, will open opportunities for Canada and Mexico to work with the U.S. on trying to open up the Chinese market. So he's interpreting this as working together. So is it work with or get permission from the U.S.? And so we got these different interpretations going on.
Well, in an ideal world, that would be great. I mean, if you want to be a complete optimist, and perhaps Stephen is being optimistic in this regard, but if you given what we've tried to do with President Trump thus far, I wouldn't hold out a lot of hope that we'll be able to work nicely together with the U.S. and Mexico. So
Opening
that we can,
opportunities.
Yeah,
right,
no,
okay.
I don't buy that. It's a nice story.
That's the way he's spinning it. So the USMCA, as we know, did some revisions to the supply management system in Canada, which protects the milk guys, the chicken guys, and the egg guys. It opened up a bit of a crack in supply management for the milk guys.
We still don't know what that's going to cost the taxpayers either.
Well, if we
because
get
Trudeau has said he's going to compensate.
Oh, no
he's going to
kidding.
compensate
No
the supply
kidding.
managed sector for that.
So that cartel is still existing. I think that's what you can call these
And they
private
might
clubs of
get a big
producers.
check. Thank you to
Yeah,
taxpayers.
they could. All right. Going through these big trade deals is hard work, but some of these clauses, Jay, have to be talked about, and that's what we're doing today. We hope you guys got some information from that. That's Jay. I'm Dave. Follow us on YouTube by subscribing. Can I get the point to the button down there?
It's over here.
Is it over there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on your side. Oh, well, of course. On Facebook, Twitter. Thanks very much for being with us today.
Thank you.